So you have been through this, what Rudy is going through before. How much pressure is Rudy under right now?
Well, Rudy's under a lot of pressure right now because Rudy knows what's on his cell phone, what's in his emails, what's in these chats that he may have on encrypted apps and so on. But, you know, everybody keeps talking about, you know, how much trouble is Rudy in? What about all of the people that Rudy communicated with? What about the possibility that Donald Trump is actually named in these communications, or Don Jr., or Jared, or Ivanka, or Bill Barr? I mean, nobody has turned around and started to really think about the extent of the information that the FBI, that the Southern District of New York has as a direct result of taking Rudy's electronic devices.
Michael, would Donald Trump actually communicate with Rudy on those devices in any way that would make it possible for any regular person looking at those communications to see that he was doing something potentially illegal?
No, because Donald Trump doesn't have an email account. He didn't use email. He certainly didn't use text messaging either. So what you'll probably have is communications whereby Rudy makes a statement, just spoke to the president, blah, blah, blah. And what will now happen is, of course, Donald will claim, I never directed Rudy to do anything. I never said anything. It's this typical Donald J. Trump standard MO, right? I never directed him. He did it on his own. And that's where Rudy now is going to have to come out, and he's going to have to defend himself because Donald will throw him under the bus. Rudy knows that. He saw what Donald did to me. And I actually had a relationship with Trump for well in excess of a decade. There was never a relationship between Donald and Rudy, not a personal one anyway. They were both using each other for various different purposes. Donald, in order to have somebody defend him for free, and Rudy so that he can go out and grift and go to foreign countries in order to pick up business. I mean, it was a quid pro quo. So now you have the Southern District of New York with a treasure trove. Look, Maria Yovanovitch is just it's the cake, right? They already know what they have with her. Everything else that they're going to be able to find on those communication devices is just icing on the cake. And rest assured that Rudy is no genius, all right? Actually, as Rudy has gotten older, Rudy's just become stupider. And we've all seen that on television. A lot of it's probably to do with his drinking, and, you know, drinking and making errors is certainly par and parcel. But Maria Yovanovitch is just the base. She's just the base, and everything else is just going to be icing.
Michael, let me get your response to Giuliani, I believe this is to Tucker Carlson. Have a watch. If it's not, I'll correct myself.
Because if this can happen to me, and in effect to the president of the United States, a former president, it can happen to anybody. I've never heard of someone blatantly violating the attorney-client privilege that way. And basically what they did when they took all my documents from the iCloud, they admitted that there was attorney-client privileged information there. And they decided on their own what they would use and what they wouldn't use.
Okay, that's Greg Kelly from Newsmax. But the question to you, Michael Cohen, is when you were in the same situation, didn't you make the same arguments he's making now? Attorney-client privilege, how dare they do this?
Sure. And what I did is we had counsel. There was what's called a taint team. There's a review team that was required to go through. They took 14 million documents from me. Probably more than 10 million of them were between my wife's emails, text messages, photographs of my children going back 25 years. There wasn't as much as, you know, the media tried to make out. But there will be a taint team that will go over the information. The problem, of course, is somebody has to pay for it. And rest assured, Donald's not going to pay for it. That was one of the big issues that led, to a lot of the information being released that would have or could have been deemed attorney-client privilege. Donald will treat Rudy the same way that he treated me, which is Rudy who? Michael who? That's just who Donald Trump is.
And so earlier you said Maria Yovanovitch, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, was just sort of the icing on the cake, that there might be other things. Do you have any insight into what those other things might be?
Well, there might be communications between him and Bill Barr regarding the remand of me back to prison. There could be all sorts of communications between him and Jared Kushner, potentially, Ivanka, Bill Barr again regarding these illegal pardons that everybody was shopping around for. Yeah, who knows what's in there? You know who knows? Rudy Giuliani knows, and that's why he's saying the most ridiculous and stupid things that, Rudy has ever said. And as we all know, over the last 2 years, Rudy has said a lot of stupid stuff.
Last question to you, Michael, and that is this. Do you anticipate Rudy Giuliani doing what you ultimately did, and that is to cooperate with the investigation?
Oh, if Rudy doesn't cooperate, then he's a bigger fool than I even thought he was, because Donald Trump is going to throw him under the bus the same that he did to me. And the difference, though, is Rudy will do a 5K1 agreement. That's something that I just would not do. First of all, mine was a campaign finance violation, whereas Rudy's is pretty significant with a FARA violation. Rudy potentially also involved himself in national security issues, whereas mine was a campaign violation that I actually was never even part of the campaign. So, I didn't do a 5K1 cooperation agreement. I just cooperated because I refused to be the villain of Donald Trump's story. I wasn't going to let history, portray me that way.
Michael Cohen, thank you very much for coming back to the Sunday Show. Joining me now is former lead House impeachment